Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Cloudy Sheep and we are playing Democracy 3 in our Communist USA run. So, we've just been elected as the Bernie Bros. We are trying to change the US for the better over here. Before we start, I have to say I had to restart the game because it crashed on me and it did start a little bit different. And it does keep on doing that every time I start the game. So apologies for that mix-up. We do have a little bit lower political capital, so it's a little bit more difficult for us now. On the other hand, I think we have lost the race riots over here, so that's a little bit irritating. We've also lost the technological advantage over here, so we'll have to see a little bit about how that goes. But on the other hand, I'm very positive. So the things that I want to address first are still the ghettos and the alcohol abuse and maybe the real estate bubble over here, because I feel that these are really the things that we've been elected for. So let's go ahead, let's go to economy over here and start, is it economy? I think it's public services actually, and start a couple of things over here. So the first policy I want to introduce is the Stomp Out Racism Week. 1 week of the year will be dedicated to embrace culture and racial diversity, aiming to reduce racial tension. Special media, small food markets and so on and so forth. It will cost a little bit of political capital to introduce. Will be fairly quick, just 1 quarter. Costs are really negligible, but it will reduce racial tension at the cost of increasing liberalism. Now, I really don't like that increase in liberalism because of the fact that we want to increase our police state a little bit, and as you can see over here, liberals are already really, yeah, driven down by quite a couple of things over here, so we don't need to take care of that. I also want to introduce in the law and order category over here the community policing, so working with the community rather than attempting to control it. I think that is very appropriate. It will cost us a little bit more, in the order of 18-19 billion dollar over here per quarter. It will be quite liked by liberals, and it will bring down racial tension, which is of course very important. Violent crime will go down, antisocial behavior and alcohol abuse will come down massively. So this is really a good thing, because alcohol abuse and antisocial behavior are really things that are hurting us, especially with the conservatives, but I think in fact with everyone. These are not really great. Internet crime is also driving down our economy, so we'll have to deal with that in a little bit. But the housing bubble is also something that we should look at. So is that something that we can look at under economy? So is there anything that we could do? I think there should be, but we probably don't have enough political capital to address that right now. Alcohol awareness campaign, rent controls. I think this is honestly, this is one of the policies that I talked about that personally I'm really opposed against, because if you set rent control too low, if you control rents, people pretty much will not have an incentive to build up new things, so it will not really make things better. It will things quite a lot worse in my feeling. So nevertheless, as the Bernie Bros, I think this is an appropriate policy. It is relatively popular with voters. Implementation delay will be just 1 turn, so it's going to be quite alright. It's going to drive down the real estate bubble. It's going to drive down capitalist income, but we don't care about that. Capitalists really dislike it. Poverty will go down though, and socialists will also like it. So yeah, I like that. But of course it does have the effect of decreasing private housing, and we'll need to take that into account at some point. I don't want to set this too high, because some of these effects are really negative. But yeah, about here I think should be fine. Right, we are pretty low on political capital now, so let's have a look at what we could do. Diplomatic service, tourism campaign are really not that bad. Alcohol awareness campaign might be something that we should really be looking at, so I think that might be pretty good actually. Automation tax is not something that we're gonna look at for a little while. Compulsory foreign languages are really nice. Race Discrimination Act I think is one of the best that we can do. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the Race Discrimination Act. It's gonna bring down racial tensions quite a bit. That's very important. Liberals will like it, ethnic minorities will like it, conservatives won't, and it will increase liberalism, which again is not something I'm particularly a fan of. And let's go ahead and do the alcohol awareness campaign. It's going to cost us a little bit of money, but drive down alcohol consumption. which I think is rather important if we look at alcohol consumption. Where is it? Over here. It's relatively high. You can see it will be brought down by about 10 percentage points, so that's pretty good. So that might decrease the alcohol abuse effect in the short term. So that's our first quarter. Let's go ahead and hit the next turn button. It's going to take process a couple of things. We'll return to government, and we'll be met by this quarterly report. So it's always built up of a couple of things. The most important factors are listed over here. So the economy, as you can see, it was relatively stable over the last turn. So these things there's not much of a change. Health is really good. Education is stable. Poverty is starting to fall a little, mostly because of our rent controls apparently. So that's very nice to see. Crime is stable, maybe dropping off a little bit. Unemployment really stable. So that's good. Economic forecast is also good. You can see the global economy, this bit over here, is still stable. But you can also see that our expenditures did go up quite a bit because of all the new things that we introduced, and our income didn't. So that means our debt keeps on increasing, and that's not really good. And there's also the fact that our credit rating apparently has been downgraded. So that's really a little bit of an issue. We can also look at the security briefing over here. There are a couple of groups that, like the Human Rights Society, the Church of Christ, these groups are opposed to us, so we will need to deal a little bit with them, and we'll have to see what we can do about these guys. Now, the real estate bubble should be coming down, as you can see over here, so that's very, very good. It's going to increase the equality by quite a bit. Youth by the opinion of the youth of us will increase maybe next turn, so that's very nice to see. Internet crime still very high. Antisocial behavior should be coming down a little bit due to community policing, so that's nice to see. Likewise, the ghettos are starting to calm down as racial tension is decreasing due to all of these three things. They will continue to decrease, so that's very nice to see. Alcohol abuse is probably going to remain a critical factor for quite a while. Oh great, and we have a rare earth crisis. Did we report about this? I think we did. Yeah, so rare earth crisis, this is really, really bad for us. Because it's decreasing productivity, it's decreasing GDP, and it is decreasing the positive effect that technology can have for us. So I think this is one of the things that we really should be starting to address very, very quickly. So let's look at the economy. There are two things I think that you can do primarily to do this. So first of all is rare earth metal mining, which is extremely expensive in terms of political capital, so we can't really spend that much on it. What we can do though, right now, and which I think we should be starting to do right away, is Green Electronics Initiative. So that again is quite actually expensive, but I want to do this because it will drop down the rare earth crisis by quite a bit. Environmentalists will like it, our energy efficiency will go up. Capitalists won't like it, but then again we are not in this game for the capitalists. So hopefully that will be enough to push this down below that threshold, but we'll have to see. With 3 political capital, I don't think we can do anything else. Oh, well, we can actually. Let's do the Labor Day bank holiday, because this will decrease GDP a little bit, so that's not great, but it will increase socialist membership and the socialist opinion of us. So I really, really like this. As you can see, capitalists are starting to dislike us already. Socialists are starting to like us a little bit more, so it will be important to really increase their membership. Let's do the next turn over here as we... God damn it. As we go on, GDP is starting to come down a little, which is not really a big surprise. Crime is starting to get up, which is not great. Poverty starting to stabilize. Unemployment is still very high. That's not great. Budget report. Yeah, the global economy is tanking a little bit. Our economy is coming down a little bit with that as well. But yeah, the debt level is still unstable. And most importantly, we have gotten a new situation, which is not great, which is that homelessness situation. So we have now there are no people who are homeless due to the high poverty, due to the reduction in private housing, The unemployment benefit is not helping very much, so this is really disliked by the liberals. The poor, middle income is coming down, crime is starting to come up. So we'll have to address that in a short while. There's also a question over here. So debt protection law. Debt collection agencies have been used because of the aggressive methods they are using to extract payment from people who owe large sums of money. These debt collection agencies provide credit to people whom larger, more respectable companies will not lend money. A law is proposed to limit the ways in which such agencies can operate. So this is asking you to make a statement so we can allow these agencies to operate. Nobody forces people to borrow money they can't repay, and to restrict the rights of debt agencies to recover legitimate debts would be counterproductive. People need to learn to live within their means and not expect the state to bail them out. Personally, I think it's better to have such agencies around. I think they allow, it's better to allow people to borrow money if they are on a pinch rather than limited that activity in the first place. But I do see the argument of limiting that activity, because sometimes this is really tempting, and sometimes these people are not really in a position where they can really judge what they can be repaying in the midterm. So nevertheless, I think in the spirit of this playthrough, I think in the terms of Bernie Bros, it's appropriate to limit that activity. That is going to have some effect on the GDP and so on, which is probably not that great, but which we'll have to live with for now. Our deficit is still concerning. Our rare earth crisis should be starting to come down at least a little bit, so I'm very hopeful about that. There's the skills shortage that we should address as well. Racial tensions, ghettos are coming down quite nicely, so I'm very much happy to see that. Alcohol abuse is still a big issue. Antisocial behavior is coming down, so that's great. Internet crime, we'll have to deal with that, I think, and I think we'll have to deal with that very shortly. So let's briefly look at the security assessment. There's no terrorist group as of now, so I think maybe that's going to take a little bit of a backseat. Let's look at the skills shortage. So it's mainly driven by the low level of education, which is actually not that low. Yeah, so let's maybe do something about that. I think we should be able to do something in terms of the economy, is it? By setting up public services, maybe? Adult education subsidies. This is of course really, really great. So we would encourage people to retrain. So I think this is probably what we want. School sports. No, I think this is the best we can do. I prefer to do something that is purely state driven, so not just subsidies, but really actual retraining programs by the state. But I don't think there's any law for that, so yeah, you know what, let's do it. Let's do adult education subsidies. It's going to be quite expensive in terms of political capital and also in terms of actual money, but it's going to reduce the skills shortage by quite a bit. Increase education, increase productivity, so these are really good things for us. That does leave us with not that much money, but I still think it's a good idea. Right, what else can we do then? Diplomatic service is nice, economy is nice, smart meters are okay, automation tax, no. Keep the countryside tidy is always a good choice. I think national armed. Telecommuting, I think is pretty good. Bicycle subsidies, less expensive, so that's not that bad. But you know what? Let's keep the country tidy campaign. Let's start that. It's going to increase the environment. It's going to increase the perception of the environmentalists and their membership. It's not that expensive at £2 billion. Sorry, $2 billion. $2 billion. So I think that's all right. Anything else we can do to alleviate the rare earth crisis? I don't think so. So that's all right. Let's do the transport initiative then as well. Let's do telecommuting. I think it's pretty strong in terms of what it can do. It's pretty expensive actually, but commuters will like it. Their membership will go down. Car usage will go down. Parents and trade unions will like it. So these are really, really great things for us. and that's good. Do we want to do smart meters? I think we do. Sorry about the pop-up. Energy efficiency is going to come down. Environmentalists are again going to like us a little bit more, so that I think is very great. So now I've forgotten which turn we are actually, so I think we are on turn. Should probably see it over here, right? I can't. Okay, let's look at the quarterly report then. Oh, damn it. Can I not see the timer? Next election, 14 turns. Yeah, so I think we have more turns for this episode. Over here, so GDP is... Okay, what's going on? Right, so here we are. The global economy just absolutely tanked. So you can see the global economy, this blue line. So, by the way, I think we should see it over here. So 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns. Okay, so 1 more turn then. So the economy really, the global economy incredibly collapsed, and it did drag down our local US economy with it. And that's going to be having tremendous effects on our income next turn. So we're going to be in for a very, very nasty surprise. So yeah, that's really, really not that great. Market momentum, here we go. Capitalists really, really dislike it. Global economy is going down, but socialist membership is going up. So there's a little bit of a good effect on that. At the same time, our credit rating is downgraded, and a major party donor drops away from us. So that's really not that great, but we'll have to look at how things stand in our overall economy. So, some of the negative effects, like the rare earth crisis, is gradually coming down, so that's nice to see. Skills shortage should be coming down gradually over time as well. It's going to take 2 years to come down, but it might help. Likewise, alcohol abuse is starting to come down at least a little bit. Antisocial behavior is coming down, that's good to see. Ghettos are coming down as racial tension comes down, so yeah, we are making some progress, but it hasn't really materialized all too much yet. Real estate bubble, that at least should be going away very soon, so that's nice to see. I think next turn actually, since we are below this green line, this should be dropping away. So that's nice. But money. We are severely lacking money. We are having a huge deficit over here, so I think we'll have to have a look at taxes over here. I don't want to increase corporation tax too much. It's alright to increase it a little bit, but it would drive down innovation by such a drastic amount. So I don't think that's really the way to go over here, because it's probably not worthwhile to increase that. For now, we'll have to look at that later on a little bit more, but for now I think we actually want to increase maybe, where's tax? Tax is over here. Maybe a new tax, and I think what I want to look at is the flat income tax. It's hugely expensive in terms of political capital, but it might help us out quite a bit over here. The alternative is to increase the income tax, but I think that's progressive, so what would happen? Socialists would like that, capitalists would dislike it, equality would go up, middle income would go down, wealthy people would like it, all the earnings would come down, unemployment would go up by quite a bit, but I think this might be worthwhile. So right now we have a deficit of about 400... Where is it? This is VAT, right? No, this is income tax. So we have a deficit of about 400 billion. So we need to go to at least about 1 point, so at least over here, so from 31% to about 50%, I think this would be roughly where we would be sort of equal. But for now, our political capital is insufficient to actually raise that, because we only have 21 and we need 30 to do this. So yeah. So yeah, I think we have to just simply wait a little bit. We need 30, we will earn 20 per turn, so we should spend at most 11 this turn. Is there anything that we can do with 11 political power? Diplomatic services is always very nice. Public tax returns would be really nice, but we don't have enough political capital for that. University grants would be okay. Public services, law and order? No, I don't think any of that is worthwhile. We might be tempted to increase the... Where is it? Not police force. Not armed police. There we go. Secret service. Intelligence services. So we can raise that for 7 political power, and I think that's worthwhile. Just to get rid of maybe the internet crime, because I think that would be a little bit better. Crime would go down, liberals would dislike it, patriots would like it. So yeah, I'm gonna increase that. It will also increase our ability to do a couple of other things as well. Right. Race Discrimination Act, we have that. Private prisons, probably not something that I would like to see increased. Jury trial, 8 political capital to raise it, so not that great. Police force could be pretty inexpensive to raise. Yeah, and people would really like it. Even antisocial behavior would go down, alcohol abuse would go down, so this might be a really good change, but we really don't have enough. Or would we? Wait a second. I don't want to spend anything. So next time we earn 20, and I think we just needed 30, right? So yeah. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead, let's increase our police force funding by quite a bit. Crime will go down, violent crime will go down, people will really like it. State employees will go up, unemployment will go down, and these negatives will go, negative effects will go down, so that's very good. And we are coming into the last bit, last turn. So GDP is growing up a little bit again. We'll have to see a little bit about why that is. Unemployment is going up as the economy crashed last time. Crime is going down a little bit. Education up a little bit, and the real estate bubble is at an end, so that's really great. So let's see why our relative GDP went up. Yeah, the global economy recovered a little bit, and I think we have our first positive effects. On the other hand, the deficit, as you can see, our income is falling really rapidly, so we'll need to take countermeasures over here. So let's... Oh, God damn it! Yeah, it's too little political capital, so we'll not be able to address it this turn, but at least everyone should be a little bit more happiness, because the real estate bubble did go down. I think the youth was affected by that, right? Happiness, yeah, your happiness is coming up a little bit, so that's very nice to see. I'm very happy that that is starting to come down. Rare earth prices also should be going down. Skills shortage, we might be able to address that soon. So I'm very happy about that. Also seeing ghettos come down. And internet crime, hopefully. How long will intelligence services? Yeah, intelligence services will take a while to really kick in, but I still think it's a very good thing to do for us. Also, alcohol consumption should be... Alcohol consumption really is going up again, so yeah, we'll have to deal with that. Antisocial behavior though, yeah, you'll stop very soon. So that's nice, that's gonna free up a little bit of money, but not too much, so yeah, we're gonna have to see about that. For now, I think this is a very nice place to put in a cut, so we should be seeing that, yeah, in 3 years we'll have our election. Our first year wasn't tremendously successful, our deficit is still there, but I do think that we did lay down the foundation of dealing with a couple of these things a little bit more effectively. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!